The mini S&Ps end the week just north of 4,100, but do end lower after that 1 week hiatus higher that we saw last Friday. Recall, going back to the early part of April, we saw 7 consecutive weeks of declines from the stock market and the mini S&Ps. Well, we saw that one up week last week. Now we're back to moving lower. We did see a narrower range this week, ending right up just north of 4,100, and now we wait for next week's news. We'll talk about that in a moment, but clearly equities now kind of waiting for the Fed to do their thing, and then we'll see how the market reacts. Now, what does this mean for volatility? Well, if you look at the VIX index, the VIX index has been trending lower and actually moved below 25 this week, ended up the week just right near 25, but ultimately showing no fear about what's coming, or at least what's happening right now. Yes, the market has clearly priced in Fed rate hikes over the next several months, but ultimately with the tug of war between Fed rate hikes, inflation, and growth and recession, you think there'd be more volatility in the market. We are not seeing that volatility in decline again. This week we did dip below 25 in the VIX index. Now, what do we have next week? Well, some of the things we'll be highlighting. Well, the consumer credit number comes in. One of the reasons we highlight that is because of the big jump we saw last month. So keep an eye on that consumer credit number that comes out early next week. Likewise, the big one, which will be CPI, continues to mark higher inflation. Clearly, we're seeing that in pretty much everything we're looking at in society these days, higher prices. Again, the Fed is already on track. They've raised rates 25 basis points in March, 50 in May, and now looking to raise another 100 basis points at the next 2 meetings in June and July. Earnings will also continue. One earnings note I want to point out, Campbell Soup comes out next week. Campbell Soup's really not an economic mover or shaker, but ultimately, when you look at the Campbell Soup can index, you might see that their price forward guidance on price and inflation may be something interesting to watch. Yes, we know prices are going higher, but clearly that may be one indicator that may go under the radar, so keep an eye on that Campbell Soup in earnings that comes out also next week after CPI. So even the S&Ps moving lower this week after 1 week higher, still holding up just north of 4,100 ahead of next week's CPI.